Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Keith Anthony Blanchard. My spiritual name is Yanava. Yaha Naha Baha. It's your spiritual name. You may have a different spiritual name, vibration of being in the vessel. But ultimately, as we move inward, upward, which is forward toward the greatest possibility, it's really not a linear motion from where we are to where we think we're going. Because even though the journey does imply we're going forward, ultimately it's going to take us right back to here. Right back where you are. And where you are, essentially, is seated in the soul. The soul name is Yaha Naha Vaha. Yah Nava is just a shortened aspect of that. Yah, God. It's the most popular, most profound name in the universe. Yah, John, or any form of the word Ah. Jesus Sananda, Paramahansa Yogananda, Yanava, Buddha, Krishna, Ah. Someone tells you Jesus Sananda. I might have to tell it to you 2 or 3 times, but when you get it, you say, Ah. All right? And in that Ah is enlightenment, because Ah, I get it. Ah. So Yah itself would be the heart, the fire, the passion, the muscle, the might, God itself. Everything you want, we think we want, it can be found here. In the nothing. And in that nothing is everything. Isn't that something? So this would represent the fire of God. Yah. How you like that for synchronicity and alignment? Na is the mind. Hopefully it's one of clarity. The mind moves this way. Digging that. Va, so let me go back to Na. Na would be the mind, hopefully one of clarity. Right choice, discernment, reason, clarity. Va is the backbone. That what keeps us erect, upright, the ability to stand, just the ability to stand in times of trouble. Someone who might be in a wheelchair, who has an upright Va, is standing, and they're standing very strongly. Right? So it's not about the mitsu, it's about who you are as a divine child, about who you are as a divine being. Regardless if the mind is clear or not, let's say the mind is not clear, the same amount of firepower God will is going to push through the unclear mind. You will become no more powerful when you're enlightened than when you aren't. There's no difference. The same fire pushes through the clouded filter as it will through the mind of clarity. It's just that when we're clear, and it becomes clear, everything we want simply begins to reveal itself, because it's not something you're actually bringing to you. It seems that way because we walk forward. Some people walk backward. Or they try their darndest to do that. So, as the fire always pushes, our task should be to become absolutely clear. Around this idea is not a whole bunch of spiritual work. People think spiritual work is, I'm going to meditate and sweat buckshot to make this thing happen. You have already overshot your target. You're going to miss it every time. Your intention will be recognized, and you may step a little bit, but Spirit will only answer your call. And if your call is effort, even I'm really trying to be this spiritual person, Spirit will always give you effort. I'm trying to be this spiritual person. It's all nonsense. The tables have turned. So Va is being able to carry out the process. Will, fire, God, desire, clarity, to be able to know when to step in or step out of the game. No shame or blame, but taking that responsibility. And Va is going to naturally follow the will, the direction, and the action. Ya, na, va. I have learned over many, many years of sweating, meditating, efforting, doing all these things that are very, very, they were a lot of fun. But we're given a go sign, if you will. We have a desktop shortcut icon on our PC. And it's right there. So you click it. You can go to any cosmic web page that you choose. Any reality, another planet, another dimension. This is all at our disposal because the window of 2020 is open. And regardless if this is clear or not, Spirit always says, you can have it, you can have it, you can have it, you can have it, you can have it. Yes, you can have it. Whatever you want. You want more difficulty? Yes, you can have it. It's always been played out this way. Now the window is open. There's no more veil. It's getting ever thin. In fact, the next layer out of the veil being so thin is no veil at all. And to no avail, you can have it all that you want, provided you are clear. Because when you are not clear, you will still get all that you want, all that you are asking for. Yah, Na, Va. It's the name of your soul. It is the primordial sacred seed syllables of your cosmic divine self. Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, spawned by this book that went bestseller, August 1st, is not just a book, it's an experience. And the experience, however long it takes, the journey of 1,000 years starts with the first step. Until then, nothing happens. When you take the first step, you have shaved 500 miles, 500 years of your journey off. Well, so that means if I take the second step, I'm complete. The 500-year mark is to say that I've taken the initiative. Without taking that first step, nothing happens. So, okay, take the first step. Good. You set an intention for yourself, a baseline for yourself. This is where you don't want to go into effort. The universal design is so simplistic. All it takes is simple observation. Observation, just to recognize it. I know how noisy the world can be. It's strong. It will. Remember how many of you went swimming as a kid in an above ground swimming pool, and everybody wants to make a whirlpool, right? And you're not sure if you want to participate because you're not really on the outside wall yet, but you feel the current, it's tugging you. But if you go stand in the center, you're not affected. The storm can bitch all it wants, and if you are centered in the Va, standing erect, everybody's turmoil is going to spin all around you. Now, this is where you should be careful, even with your loved ones in this time of trouble, because you're in the center. Someone you care about who's in the current saying, help me, and they reach out their hand. You grab their hand, you become engaged in the situation as well as everyone else in the turbulent event horizon. So what are you saying? Should I just not care about my loved ones? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have to always be in a situation of being planted, or you will become one reaching to someone else, hoping to get you out of the mess that you've mired yourself in. The political arena, the COVID agenda, whatever that is. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, erroneous. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's a lot of nonsense in it. Whatever that nonsense is, I don't claim to know it. I know there's nonsense involved. So in 2020, with this window being open, you can have what you want. But it will bring up in you everything you've been stuffing down. Well, Keith, I'm pretty solid. Fantastic. Tell me how you did it and what you got that I want. I'm solid. Good. Be grounded. Because even in your solidity, the things that you stuffed down since you were 16 and don't remember that you stuffed down, because if you remembered you would have done the work around it, they will start showing up. They'll start popping up. You know, first arise within you as thought. Remember this time? Yeah, I'm pretty much over that. It may just be fleeting. And if it continues to get ignored, it'll start to show up as feeling. It'll start showing up more often then you start being emotionally affected by it. Continuing to ignore it, it will become physically manifested. Now, this sounds like this will happen over a period of a year. The window's open. This will start showing up just like this, and things will become. You have no choice because someone's knocking at your door. You don't know who it is until you open the door. You open the door and it says hello. And then you will be confronted with something in your life, which I will help you with in a little bit using a breathing technique that will help you move through. Move through would be the correct way to describe it. Because you can't go around it, you can't go over it, and you can't shove it down. You have to go through it. The opportunity to free yourself is at hand. But to be in the joy, you're going to have to be afraid. What does that mean? The things you have been fearing in your life, the wall that's keeping you from your liberation. Here's my fear, and my liberation's here. You have to go through it. So here's my fear.
Your mind was.
It's not so bad. What's that?
Your mind was overworking.
Correct. The mind was overworking, Judy says. And when you realize, at first it's going to feel funky when you step. It's going to feel real sticky, dark, nasty, nerving. You've all been swerving, trying to curving all around it. But you have to ground it. You have to be grounded. And when you move through it, it's going to seem a little weird. After a little bit, this is not so bad. What have I been doing to myself all this time to keep myself in this self-induced prison, this self-delusion? We all do it. We all have been doing it. It's suggested that we do it no longer. The current is going to get stronger. You think today is crazy? Wait till next week.
I have a question.
Yes,
So
please.
the difference between reaching out and getting in the whirlpool of that energy, whether it's fear-based, three-dimensional, whatever, is different than facing your own fears. It's more of a shadow work, going inside.
Ask me that again, please.
Okay, you had discussed previously about the whirlpool and the reaching out to help and being careful not to get sucked in.
Right.
Then you talked about facing your fears, which I'm attributing to shadow work, going inside. It's different than the previous situation you discussed.
Helping someone or not helping someone is one of wisdom. To what degree can you help without becoming involved to where you become part of the unconsciousness and your desire and your love for someone, which is a gorgeous thing, to help. But what good can we do if we're drowning as well? You can't save another drowning person if you're drowning. As far as shadow work, I understand the idea, I understand the term. It's not for me. I could call what I've done over the years shadow work. But in the titling and the labeling of that is something very, very powerful. Okay. The shadow, the dark. Because ultimately it's all light. Some of it is just waiting to recognize that. Some of the lessons are waiting to be recognized. So, did I answer your question?
Yeah, thanks, because it's denotation, connotation on the word shadow work, but we're saying the same thing.
Saying the same thing.
Yes, I got it, and I appreciate you clarifying it, because it's just a sliver, but that sliver can make all the difference.
It's monumental.
Yes, I see it now.
And you say, well, it's just words. Okay, well, words are vibration.
Yeah.
Power of the spoken word. But not only that, if you can get beyond the words, you still have in that idea, it's laced with intention. It's laced with unconscious intention because you say, well, it's just a word. Well, how clear are you that you're just hanging out with your friend who is truly illumined and you're truly illumined? And you say, I got to do some shadow work today. And you both go, I get it. But some people really cling to that pseudo-spirituality. 144,000, the ascension, what's the other one? The other famous one, 5D, and I'm a star seed. I get all that. How much time, how can you understand that you're a star seed? I'm not saying you're not. You may have had glimpses over your life. But how can you truly integrate your star seedness if you're still lost in the human conundrum? You can't. People don't understand God because they don't understand themselves. How can we understand the majesty if we don't understand the finite, puny little self? There's no difference. We have to go through what we know or believe, think we are to get to that which is beyond everything. When we begin to take on these modalities of being is when we begin to cross the bridge to the soul. Even looking at this book cover, this perfectly describes my life years ago. Human dynamic. Living in fear. You might get a little light, gets a little gray, and your boyfriend or girlfriend breaks up with you, and this thing, and we never get past this area here. You start doing the spiritual non-work, leaving things alone. Literally, leaving them alone. We start to move on this crickety-rickety bridge. It's a rope bridge. The rope bridge can support you, or the rope will hang you. When you first get on the bridge of your spiritual walk, it's a rope bridge. And it's very long, so it's got some swaying to it. The closer you get to the center of the bridge, where it's balanced, the swaying begins to stop. Likewise, you will find yourself, when you get to the center point, you know exactly how the bridge responds to you as you move. So now you don't even need your hands to hold on. You're so good at how it moves, you can get your groove on while you're doing the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And so then you begin to be this person here, then you move into the light, because ultimately, when you get into the lighter areas of reality, all the illusion of everything that is bad, it all gets forgotten. You remember it, but the level of its importance to you simply just dissipates. You see it now as the most amazing, beautiful catalyst that could have ever happened to you. Nor would you ever want to change it if you could. Because it's those particular dynamics that has brought you across the center point of the bridge to your soul. Anyone have any questions? Anyone good?
All that is good goes away too.
Correct. Very good. All the good goes away. Key, don't we want good over bad? Well, yeah, until you get to the point beyond what we are calling good and bad. Because your good may be good for you. We thought that person we dated or that job we had, man, this is good. I got this job or I got this lover in my life. Come to find out, it wasn't. Future hindsight, it actually was. It was way beyond the good because it was a catalyst or a bridge that brought you to this new reality. Because what truly is good lies beyond the world of good and bad. This is bad, this is good. Of course, that's interchangeable depending on who you are. Most people live their life in this dual split. I definitely don't want that one. I want this one. Fantastic. It means you're expanding into your spiritual possibility, which you know that you want for yourself. But there's something else. You mean there's more I can choose from? It's infinite. Your choice is not only infinite under the guise of what you call good and bad. When you choose between good and bad, you only have two choices. You only have one choice. The choice is this one or that one. And you're still living in duality. That is not what wholeness is. Wholeness is the reality of you coming home to yourself to realize, who is this being that has a choice? That's called the Trinity. The self. When the self becomes enlightened, the Trinity, the Holy Spirit, begins to arise in one person. And then you realize, I don't have a choice. I am the being that has infinite choices. You can go snow skiing. You can go jump out of an airplane. You can come to Florida. You can go eat some food at a Mexican restaurant. Whatever it is you want to do. And it's infinite. Now, a lot of the trouble begins to happen when people start feeling bad about their choices. Good is a phenomenal barometer to keep you on the path of enlightenment. But it also can be a trap if you think you found the ultimate good in your life. Because the real you, the deciding factor, the deciding person, or being rather, is infinite potential always. How many here are still holding on to certain life situations, boyfriends, jobs, Anything you'd like to share?
Oh, no, you just, general question.
Oh, share, What do you mean by holding on? Can you define holding on? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Holding on?
Yeah.
I can give you a wonderful
Is it
analogy.
something that you should not hold on to? Is that what you're implying? It's something that's in the... I'm choosing my words carefully. That you should let go?
Lisa asked the question, can I define holding on?
Yes.
And how does one begin to let go of even their own model or my model of letting go? What does that look like? Here's this cool little thing. It's pretty. It's red. You like red.
Right.
Here's red. And it's about this long. And I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
And it's electrical wire. Okay. The current has been flipped. And you're holding it. And as long as you're holding on to this electrical current, because whatever you have in your life that is not serving you is causing you pain. No, it's not causing you pain. It causes you pain initially. And as long as you hold on to it, after you get the shock of your life, it's called self-induced suffering. Because you don't want to let go. And as long as you hold on to that electrical charge, that thing that has you charged electrically, emotionally in your life, you will get electrocuted. It will shock you, and it will keep you grounded in the situation. When you let go, hurting completely stops. It can be tough to let go because the person who's holding on to this idea thinks it's what will save them from themselves. I'm holding on to this person because I don't have the joy in me. And they have to be the one to bring me that joy. That is called self-induced suffering. Job. I lost my job. I'm grateful that I had that job. It brought me to this spot. It changes it all. This is not just spiritual cliche nonsense. It might be the same words that I'm calling spiritual cliche nonsense. But it's the attitude, like we talked about, and what we were saying, the difference between shadow work. It's really refining your process in such a way that you're not only taking steps, you're taking steps, leaps and bounds, because I'm done with this. Done. And anything that I don't know of in my unconscious bank, my unconscious file, I'm ready for those to be revealed to me. Because it could be a collection of those little things that are keeping you truly from the next step. You might be wanting a step, but something's not allowing you. It could be the fear. It could be situations that are just not manifesting to where you can move through an open door. So holding on is probably one of the greatest spiritual lessons one could ever master in the letting go of. Your ideas of what you think is going to take to give you bliss will never give you bliss. It may give you glimpses of your greatest potential, but it will never take you there. What will take you there, which is actually here, is letting go of your preconceived notions. Well, key isn't Jesus. Well, of course Jesus is. But how do you think he achieved that level of being? By acting and thinking the way you did? You know, who's God in control here? Am I going to follow the teacher, follow the leader, follow the master, and be as the Christ, as a Christian, if that's your way? Or as the Buddha, if that's your way? Or as the Hindi, or as Krishna, if Hindi is your way? Whatever your way is, there's only one path. There's many paths to the path, but there's only one path. Because once you get to the cave of Samadhi, dark, lit by fire, only enough to where I can see. That sounds like each one of us is living in a cave. Because we are. Samadhi is the intention of unifying with God. I have every intention of unifying with God. Monks in the Himalayas, and likewise, they literally go into a cave. They play it out. They play the game out from beginning to end. They go into a cave, in the dark cave, to illuminate themselves so they can see. Unity with God is Samadhi. And what these monks are doing in these caves, they're forgiving themselves, how they've wronged themselves. They're forgiving themselves for what they did to other people. They're forgiving the people who did certain things to them. They're forgiving the people who did certain things to other people and other people and other people and other people. Because they understand that every aspect of these beings that they're in forgiveness mode is themselves. This brings them to greater capacity of enlightenment. So those things that we are choosing and then feel bad and or good about can be considered blocks. We don't know anything except I know that I want greater degrees of bliss. It's really the basic question a spiritual aspirant can ask themselves. It's great to read a phenomenal book. I got a few. It's great to hear wonderful pieces of music. I have lots of those too. I write music as well. I'm playing bands and all that stuff. I love all that. It's expressions of me having fun. And I do this with other people. I love reading good books. I love good music. It's all playing the human game because being human in and of itself is divine. But no spiritual teacher can teach you anything. They can help you, nudge you, unlock doors for you. But they can't tell you ultimately what you know, because eventually you will get to a place in your life. You will always probably listen to music. That's the universal language. But you may not always want to read books. You might want to read a book just because you want to relax on a hammock on a nice breezy day. Just read a cool book. Just to kind of escape and let go and get some fresh input. We think enlightenment is a future event. We think heaven on earth is a future event. No, it's not. It's here. It's you. It's your incarnation. You're the it, there is nothing else. If you're looking anywhere else toward anything, you have missed the point, and you will never get back on track till you fall back into center with yourself. What I like what I see. Exactly. That's why people of the light, who love you enough to say, you may not like me during the situation. A few years down the road, you'll love me because I love you already, to impart to you this power, this knowledge of hanging around certain beings. For example, I'll talk about these books shortly, that I have and still do in my life. When I say beings, I'm speaking of spiritual, self-realized, God-realized men. I'm not talking about someone who's just really cool and pretty enlightened. I'm talking about the absolution on the earth. Yes?
Well, when most people speak of love, they're speaking of love, conditional love. And the love that you're speaking of is unconditional. Because
Totally. I have nothing to change.
Right.
Because it's really about acceptance, allowance, and appreciation. We heard of AA for rehabilitation. Well, this is AAA, Trinity Rehabilitation, AAA. Acceptance, allowance, appreciation. Acceptance, allowance, appreciation. I accept you exactly as you are. I have no reason to change it. I allow you, I accept you, I allow you, and in fact, I go even beyond that. This is the rehabilitation. I appreciate you in all your folly. Because if I don't appreciate you, even in your folly, it becomes my folly. I have left the center of the swimming pool and grabbed someone from the current, now become part of the noise, and I'm twirling and whirling about in this sea of unconsciousness. That's what happens in a whirlpool. It all goes downward. And life spirals downward.
That may be something to help with the shadow, too, because all of the shadow is in time, and there's no time.
Yeah, there's no time. So if we take the time to get out of time and into no time, that can be a riddle in and of itself. But I think you understand. Taking your time, because you're not in a hurry. Humanity is in such a move, they want to move fast. It's noise, because they're trying to escape. And I've realized why people drive like absolute maniacs at 8:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, and the same at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Because they're doing something they don't love, which we're going to talk about. They hate it. They hate their miserable existence. They're not living, they're existing. But I got to pay the bills. So they sleep in as late as possible, only to get on the expressway and drive like a fool to someplace they hate. Boy, as soon as 5 o'clock and they punch that clock, they sit back this way because they don't like their life. How many here are doing what you love? What? Fantastic. I'm going to talk about that here shortly. I want to lay out for you 4 powerful tenets, modes, principles, truths. And these 4 are only one. They're fragments of the one. Father, one. There's nothing else. Father, Mother, God. Only one. Son, duality. There's something else other than the one. 3 would be the Trinity, the AAA rehabilitation that rectifies. 4 would be the introduction of power. So we have 1, 2, 3. Now we brought the Father or God back into the situation, and it expands. It begins to swell. Number 1 is passion. You can see it in me. I'm a personification of passion. Everything I do, there is no way it will not happen. That's done. I'm done with, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to be Mr. or Mrs. Spiritual. I'm done with that nonsense. It is me. And I've learned that passion is that Yah. It's that fire. Passion is the aggressive. I'm a mechanic. I'm going to get into this car and I'm going to fix this engine. I got oil under my fingernails to prove it. I roll up my sleeves and it's going to happen. I'm going to fix it. That is passion. That's the fire. That is the active. Number 2 is sincerity. Passion is sincerity is I'm serious about this. It means something beautiful to me. It's like being cradled by your divine mother in her bosom, suckling on the divine teat for the milk support. I'm serious about this. I mean it. So you have the fire, which is passion, the backbone, whatever it takes to make it happen. Sincerity would be, I mean it, which provides the clarity and the way to do that. I'm laying dynamite in your hands. Sincerity would be the passive, the soft spot, your divine mother, the birth of a brand new sister. It's pink kind of idea. Soft, fuzzy, warm, nurturing, supporting. Your grandmother, when you were a kid. You remember your grandmother? You remember her smell? That kind of energy. Humility is being of service. One of the greatest ways you can raise your vibration to be a part of the new world, suddenly through the silence, because all this noise, suddenly through the silence, the new world will appear. One of the ways you can raise your vibration to guarantee a part of that new world, it's not like there's going to be an old world and everybody who doesn't do what I'm trying to do is going to be lost and me and this flock. There are many dimensions and realities playing itself out. But if you want to be a part of the new world, meaning a world, at least for you, that is one of absolute ongoing bliss and joy where everyone is getting along and everyone is shared and shared equally, is being of service. Being of service to everyone you can, not as much as you can, but all the time. All the time. Open the door for people. You might have, yes, you got something to prove. You're trying to prove it to yourself. Look people in their eyes and say, good morning, ma'am. How are you? Can I open the door for you? Whatever they say to you is not your business. Your business is to be an anchor of service. Humility. Buddhist monks live their whole life like this. The whole life. Because they understand they're connected. In so doing, they're connected. They're connected consciously. And in so being of service, they are being serviced themselves. Passion, sincerity, humility. And lastly, equally as powerful and as important, scary as shit. Peeling that open and making yourself vulnerable. Taking your clothes off, literally or figuratively. Because it's all literal. Ask yourself, well, of course I'm not going to just go in the room and just strip my clothes off. But I do recognize in not doing that, somehow, somewhere inside of me, I do have an issue with that. Well, Keith, it's because it's respect. Well, I get all that. Point is, analogously, it does lay itself out. There's a part of us that is afraid to be seen. All the work you've done, passion, sincerity, humility, is for naught if you don't open the gate for that light to come out. Okay, so I'm passionate. I'm trying to create something. I'm trying to do this thing that brings me joy. And I mean it. I'm so sincere about it. I just want this because it's me. And I'm humbled to be of service and all these things that creates a bridge to that thing I'm wanting. But if you don't ever open up the spigot, the water is not going to flow. You have to let this light of yours shine, this little light of yours. You have to open it up. You have to be seen. Many people are scared to be seen. I see it in people's eyes, people's faces, how they dress, what they say, what they don't say, more importantly, what they don't say. There is another language happening beyond what's being spoken. And if you learn to hear this language of light, there is more information being passed than what's being said. And then you will see people's level of vulnerability or not. So, if we look at the analogy, let's use these 4 models as the life of Christ. What is heaven on earth? People think it's a future event. It's not. It's a manifestation of your divine self in every moment. So we look at the life of Christ, and then we see him in this image. Right? What is the first one of the 4 that we just talked about? Passion. What is the crucifixion, the death of one's old self to become resurrected? What is that called? The passion of the Christ. This is coming through me at this moment. I have no idea where this is going. It's called the passion of the Christ. So likewise, we have to become passionate. He was sincere about it. I'm going to do this. I'm serious. I mean it. I'm going to do this. That'd be his sincerity. His humility to be of service to all of humanity, past, present, future. Bowing down. You lift, ironically, when you bow. The lower you are, the higher you are. That would be humility. Vulnerability. He made himself naked, literally, metaphorically as well. He made himself vulnerable by exposing his core, his light. That would be vulnerability. Heaven comes down. Earth goes across. Heaven on earth. So he was nailed to this cross, upon this cross, by these 2 planes of experience, these 2 planes of existence. And he exposes himself. But notice where these 2 planes on this crucifix intersect. Well, that moved through me. Still is.
He said both of them will pass away.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Which brings us ultimately back to wholeness. Beyond the duality. The left, right, in, out, hot, cold, good, bad. So I'm going to move into what this book is. This book was birthed for those, the divine principle anchoring heaven on earth. Prior, let's say, 1998. I was with a girl for 10 years before 98. 98 was the 10th year. She said, see you later. I'm an wanting to be an aspiring professional musician. I learned my craft, started playing some really good bands, wanted that record deal. And I leaned on her pretty hard. But she fell in love, if you will, with a rock guy. She was my food, transportation, my shelter, my intimacy, all these things. Through the fighting of many years, she said, see you later. I had nothing. Nothing. She was all that to me, and so it all went away. And I fell into a dark night of the soul. A long time. Finally, over many years, early in my life, I was going to be a Catholic priest, and I was very serious about it. I still have that sort of image now, as far as the black and all that stuff. But I want to be a Catholic priest. My dad gives me an electric guitar. Sorry, God. Put him in the closet. And I lived the lifestyle, and then I met her. And when she left, I went back to the closet, blew the dust off, pulled out the God experience, And I said, I need to hear your voice. Many people say, I need to hear your voice. It doesn't happen. Somehow, I've been a good little boy along the way of my life, that I found that very passion, sincerity, humility, and vulnerability in my asking. And I asked for 3 to 4 weeks. I need you. I was serious about it. I need you. I really meant it. All those four components. 3 weeks later, I'm playing music at a casino. Long sets, 7 of them. 50 minutes away, I come back home. God, I don't care what happens. I'll just want to go to sleep. And about 6-ish in the morning, I hear, good morning, Keith, it's time for you to wake up. Nobody's in my house. Nobody is in my house. Dream voice. Keith, I asked you to awake. And then I was laid violently, lovingly on the bed and thrown into a full-blown experience with God. This book is sort of set up like Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God. This book was 6 months into the writing before Neil Donald Walsh ever came onto the scene, so it was not plagiarized at all, copyrighted or anything like that. And it's question and dialogue with Spirit. So when I was laid on the bed, when I was laid on the bed, I was thrown into a divine experience. I could smell the voice, I could hear the voice, I could taste the voice, I could see the voice, I could feel the voice. It was just permeating everything I knew until that moment was me. And it said, grab your tape recorder, go sit on the sofa and press record. What am I going to talk about? It says, trust me, the thoughts will be there. When I received this whole thought, it wasn't linear thought after thought after thought. Listen, follow the instructions. It was an impregnation, an impression. And all of it was contained in this beautiful bubble, if you will. Even this moment is contained in that bubble for me. Over a period of dialoguing with the voice said, enough with the meditation, trying to hear me, if you will. Go live these principles, because the book will be unbalanced if you don't put into motion and anchor these principles, because then you will be reciting information just like a parrot. One more. These principles, hence the divine principle, anchoring heaven on earth, becoming the embodiment of this truth, became alive in me. 4 years into writing this book, I began to follow a divine incarnation, which is tattooed on my arm. I have more work to do. I learned of the presence of this holy man, Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Satya is truth. Sai is mother. Baba, like Abba in the Bible, is father. This man sounds blasphemic, but it's not. Is the highest incarnation of God to ever come to the earth. Ever. What I mean by highest doesn't mean Jesus is not as high. Doesn't mean that. Highest means it's the Godhead literally personifying itself on the earth. Jesus was a man who, over the course of his life, became unified with God. Hence the Holy Spirit dove descended into him. Baptism, Paramahansa Yogananda. You and I are yogis just like Jesus and Buddha. We aspire through the course of our life to become a yogi, to become realized. That's not what Satya Sai Baba is. I found out about his presence on the earth. I started reading every book I could find. Not because he writes books. People go over there to experience the noise, the hype they're hearing. Some scientists, some doctors, to disprove. And these are the people coming back, writing these books going, I don't know what that was. So I started reading these books. He starts showing up in my dreams. One night, after about a year, title, Dreams, Dreams, Dreams. Comes a state of awareness in my sleep. And he's standing across the river, quite a distance, so maybe he did it in front of the building. Across the river, and he's talking to me telepathically. I can hear him perfectly. And he says, and first thing when I see him, I'm like this, In my humility, he says, Keith, stand up. He says, come see me in India. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to. But I've never done such a thing. How will I do this? Where will I get the money? I've never left the country. But he goes, Keith, put all this nonsense down. I got you covered. You come here to put your feet on Indian soil only to turn around and go home. Do this for me. I said, absolutely. I woke up in the morning going, that was so surreal. And out of all the books I've read, that when he appears to you in a dream, you're not dreaming. That's why no one can just dream of Jesus or Buddha. You just can't do it unless you're being visited. Blessings of a holy person called darshan. So I woke up in the morning going, how will I do this? Where will I get the money? I said, Keith, stop. If you believe all the things you read, put it aside. And I went, I think I might be going to India. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from a lady I never met. Absolute true story. A lady I never met. Hi, Keith. My name is Debbie Jabor. Hi, Debbie. What can I do for you? Keith, we have a mutual friend. The word got to me. You want to go to India to see a holy man? I said, yes, ma'am. She says, Keith, I'm a flight attendant. I got some companion passes for the year that are about to expire. And I would not like that to happen knowing you want to go to India to experience this holy man. Can I give you a first class round trip ticket? That to happen knowing. I literally fell and hurt my knees because I just dropped. I started bawling, just bawling for an hour. 3 months later, I'm standing on this ashram in the back because I got there late, only to find this 5'1" little man come out of the gate on the west. I had literally a dream, because I had a dream. I had a dream realize itself. And I'm saying, oh my God, is this really happening? This was the integration of spirit, the initiation of spirit in my life. The initiation. Keith, I am making myself known. Not just because you pray to me and here's a couple of bones here and there. Here's some scraps. Do what you can with that. No. This was truly divine fire. This was actually the integration phase of my life of spirit. This was hearing. This is hearing. This is hearing. This is all hearing. This is a way of seeing, a way of taking in information. This was actually being in the presence of a divine man, God itself. Being able to touch him, having talked to me telepathically, doing things in front of me, manifesting objects at will, changing the weather right in front of me. This was the integration period for me, for playing with spirit. This, father, mother, this would be the child. This is an integration of this work. Now, you could buy this book and this book, or not. But if you bought the idea is, if you bought these books and read them, would you get the same effect? Sure. But if you buy this book, it shows something else, because this is not just about the words. This is about generating an effect. So in effect, the reason I wrote this book this way, which is the first part of this book, there's another volume coming of this. First part of this book is a few chapters. When I went to India, the stopping period of writing this book, when I went to India, is where I inserted India in here. Now, when I went from the divine principle, it's present, because I'm just asking God questions. I don't say like, well, you remember last week when you and I, it's all about just a dialogue. This book, I decided to write in present tense. Not when I went to the ashram 2 years ago to my readers, I experienced past tense. This thing, that thing. I wrote it in present tense. Oh my God, this is actually transpiring right in front of my face. So you can see the power of this emotional process that I was going through. That this was actually happening. So you can feel the same bang that I went through. Some of these experiences I've had when I was in India are beyond understanding. Truly beyond understanding. There's no way I could find words to express to you some of these things that took place. And most people immediately think I'm talking about out here. I am talking about out here. But what was happening in here was something far greater than out there. For example, When this divine man would walk into the ashram, 35 plus thousand on a normal day,
Wow.
250,000 on a festival day. It looks like a college, basically, the layout of the ashram. So they're all there from all over the world. Christians, Buddhists, Zoroaster, Hindi, Muslims. Everybody dressed in their religion and their garb and just loving each other. That was the greatest miracle. Beyond anything he could do with his hand. So when he would walk out, because many people flew from halfway around the world, even from Asia, even from South America, Australia, to be in the presence. When he walks out, you don't sit and talk to your friend. Oh, check out what he's wearing. You just focus on the avatar. And wherever he goes, you're just watching. When he starts turning that hand, he's about to materialize something out of nothing, right in front of you. When he starts turning his hand, everyone's energy shoots through the roof. The excitement. Oh my God, he's about to create. So notice the posture I'm doing now. It's like everybody's energy ramps and they're hunkering in on him. So if you think about at least or more, 35 plus thousand consciousnesses focused on a single point. I often said, Sai Baba says, when I'm with women, I'm a woman. When I'm with men, I'm a man. When I'm with children, I'm just like them. When I'm alone, I'm God. Though he has this ability to do whatever he wants, you will often see him writing. He's creating universal scripts, codes. And here, there's another aspect of this. I'll let you read the book for that if you choose. But I often wonder, when he manifests things, you got all these people, like Star Wars. The force is all around you, right? So when he starts to turn his hand, he's drawing in all this power. Here's the delicious part of it. Wherever this object comes from, because we're all invested, we all go there together and retrieve it. And we all bring it back. And you can feel it. You can feel yourself as him manifesting that. Amazing, powerful stuff. What time is it so I know when I'm... Thank you.
11:10.
11:10. Wonderful. Any questions at this point?
When you say manifesting, you're talking about the manifestation not of energy but of a physical?
Bringing something from nothing into physical existence.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's so many things I've seen him do. But when you're in it, you see it as him, but you know somehow it belongs to you. You know it's your birthright. And so in this integration process from initiation to the integration phase of my life, now to the graduation phase of my life, means I still have tons of work, non-work to do. Being there in India took me out of what I know my comfort zone. To be with God. You have to get out of your comfort zone to be with God. I know when I say with God, it implies somewhere else. It's the humility I talked about that brings that something from the non-material into the material, which is this material body, as an experience. So it's that very humility I talked about that opens the door, that makes the sandwich, that integrates the process. So humility in this regard is bridging the gap, crossing the bridge to the soul. Because early on in life, revering Jesus is wonderful. To a point, until it becomes non-serving. Because the whole existence and or experience or presentation of Jesus' life is so that you can become just like him. I am in my Father, my Father's in me, and I am in you. So all that, I am in my Father, my Father's in me, and I am in you. So it's all contained here. So humility, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, is wonderful because it's the humility and the lowering of oneself that opens the self up to stand up again, to be erect. To have the birth of the Christ within you. Jesus was a man. Christ is the Spirit. Christ is not Jesus. Huh? Christ is not Jesus. Jesus became the Christ. Calling insinuating that the Christ is Jesus is saying, this is all it will ever be. And Jesus and Jesus alone. You can never graduate. You're shit out of luck, all of you. The Christ is the Lord. The Lord is not a man. The Lord is that chair. The Lord comes from the earth. It rises up in consciousness and power and might. The reason Spirit is able to move that chair at will, because it is the chair. It's not separate from it. Otherwise, it couldn't do it. So these lessons always bring us back to home. It's about you. Always has been, is now, and forever will be. There is nothing else. Now we're here to have fun. If God is the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, we've got that straight. What is all that? You take a dot, the beginning, a dot in the end, and you draw a straight line, and you're left with one line. One. The power of one. So when we understand these simple models, beyond the pseudo-spirituality, initiate, integrate, graduate, all these obstacles in life, the holdings on to the wire, they all simply get removed. You've gotten the aha. Someone told you a joke 3 or 4 times. You dated the same person with a different face and a different name. And you say, there's no reason to tell you the joke again. The riddle's done. Yes?
So in homecoming, you have recognized that Sai Baba is you.
It is me. And in that phase of my life, in this phase of my life, I was like, I need help. And then it started to show up, and I began to recognize it. Oh my God, this is so fun and so delicious. I can't wait to share it to my brothers and sisters. Then I learned of him. And I follow many different avatars. Jesus, Buddha, I follow them all. But this one really got me. When I started following Sai Baba, it was all about Baba. I made my house, I had pictures, 50, 60 pictures on my house, and bamboo in the corner, and it was this huge shrine. I had a picture the size of this door over my fireplace. It was all that. And it served its purpose. And when it came time, I realized it was me. It was me. I still review. And I still love Bob. And I love being in that energy. Because it takes me from here back to there. Which when I was there, it was actually here. So I'm losing, honestly, I'm losing time in my life. 24 hours is not 24 hours for me anymore. I'm actually beginning to exist and dwell in the kingdom, in the garden. What does that feel like? It's happening to me now. In here is everything, but it requires being in the nothing to gain something from it. There's no noise in there. Well, yes, you already missed it. But I think you missed it already. There's nothing in there. Don't go into nothing expecting to find something, because you will be in the something and will never achieve the no thing, the nothing, the 0 point. What is 0? It's the point on a graduated scale where the positive, the good, and the negative, the bad, on a graduated scale where they are reckoned, balanced. You don't have to pray, meditate to get there. That's it. I've been doing this so long, and my open-eyedness with you right now, all it requires from me is just a simple act of intention. And I fall right there. I could sit in this chair, which I may, and close my eyes and go into vessel mode, and Spirit will be glad to tell you whatever Spirit has deemed appropriate for this group, including myself as a listener. Because when I sit in that chair, I go into nothing. Keith does not exist. So now I want to share with you some techniques. We did discuss do what you love. Tell me about yours, dear. About almost there, but not.
What I love?
Well, I asked who are doing what they love. Everyone raise their hand right at the gut. You did, and you kind of resisted. So what is that for you? How may I support you?
Well, I don't know what it is. There's like something blocking what I know I need to do, but I don't know what that is. And it manifests, like you were saying, into anxieties that I've never had, like panic attacks, driving, feeling in open spaces like I'm going to fall off the edge. But I don't know what that block is.
You want to change that?
Yes.
I'm okay if you don't wear a mask, that's up to you.
I'm good.
Can I touch you?
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Right.
Doing well? I'm already reading you, checking you out.
Jiggles.
It's okay. Jiggle's good. What is it you want to do?
I want to be a life coach, but I want to do
That's
it
a beautiful
for the
idea.
right reasons.
What would be the right reasons? And give me an idea what would be the wrong reason.
To guide people, not to fix them or teach them what they should do, but just to be their whole space, love them, and just help
So
them.
you want to be, you want to hold space for people as a teacher. That's fantastic. Go do it. Are you doing that at all?
Yes.
To what degree that you're stepping, and what is it that's causing you to not step further?
A fear that it's not going to be enough.
Give me an idea what is not enough, meaning it's not going to be lucrative or not enough in the form of
And not enough,
fulfilling.
or that I'm not good enough. Like good enough.
Good enough at the task, or not good enough as a person to be one to divulge such wisdom. I'm playing this game with you because I'm trying to find you in it.
I think the latter of what you said. Good
So
enough.
this has to do with self-worthiness, or self-deserving, or being self-good enough. You can play that all you want. It's your divine birthright to handle and mold and wield that reality. I'm loving looking, because that's what you're doing. I'm loving looking at my not being worthy because of your past.
Right.
Boyfriends, relationships. Is this how all this played out for
It has to
you?
do with children.
Children, okay. What do you do? Are you taking steps to resolve this for you?
What am I doing to do that?
Yes.
Trying to do a lot of what you said, what I've been reading about, letting go, knowing there's nothing to do. I am God within, infinite. But trying to, I say the word, but trying to
right.
let go of all that.
You were going
Resist
exactly
it.
where I was going. So what you now do, instead of taking me as a teacher, giving you a bunch of information that you should be writing down, so okay, I need to take everything I said, look at it one time, honestly. Keyword, honestly. And that's it. You're done. It sounds superficial. When you're done with it, when you make the conscious decision to be done with it, you will be done with it. So you are clear about your vision about what it is, at least for now, you think you want. When you put this thing down, the vision of what you think you want, if that's really what it is, will get wider. And then you'll be able to step into it easier, or when you're done with the nonsense, the vision itself will change into something you never thought about. You have to simply be willing to stop playing
Stop
the game.
the noise.
Stop
That's it.
the
To stop the noise.
So here's something else that is very important that will kick you in the pants more so than the previous, which is stopping the noise. If you try to stop the noise, you've worsened your problem. The monkey will never shut up. You don't want the monkey. It serves a purpose. He will always talk. Trying to stop the monkey from talking. Most people know that as being slapped by your parents. Stop talking, go sit down. Makes the child louder. And it scars the child. Your inner child has been slapped and scarred in such a way. So instead of stopping the monkey, you give him what he wants. What monkeys want? Banana. So you give him a spiritual banana. You give him something that will satisfy him so he can't open his mouth. While you do, as a spirit, are able to do the work, play that you're here to do, want to do. I made a deal with my ego a long time ago. If you just shut up, I want the same things you want. But you can't get it in all of your yammering. But if you be quiet for a little while, I'm giving them the banana. Let me as a spirit go get it. And when I get it, I promise you, you'll be the first one I'll tell. He shut up, just like that. You do it your way. Find a way for you. That's because once you start grading and judging and grading your own test paper, how you're doing, you're going backwards. It's simply, I'm just done. Hey, let's go hang out. You're just done. It's just completely done. Anything else, you're overshooting your target. Find what you want. Follow it. Honestly, clearly. And it will grow to a greater capacity. Or the vision will shift and go, oh my God, that's what I thought I wanted. But because I did the non-work, this just revealed itself. These blocks are really not blocks. We call them blocks to give us ideas of what something is in my way. But the something that's in your way is ourself. And I'm not a block. I'm a divine child of God. Wow, I deserve everything. And it's not coming to me. It is me. I am everything. There's nothing else. Do you see?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I say that?
Go live your passion.
Can I say that a different way? The two words "I am" are so important.
Right?
So if you say "I am open and willing to allow my divine self to be the life coach," it's way more powerful than
That would be crossing the bridge to your soul, darling.
you wanting to be the life coach. Allowing the spirit to come through to coach.
So that would be crossing the bridge to your soul. But now I'm going to offer you all, and I enjoy doing this myself, a way to touch your soul right here in this moment. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? You are. Here. You can bring your mask or not. It's truly up to you. Hi, what is your name again?
Danielle.
Danielle. Everyone, follow. Come in this shot with these. Come over here. Back a little bit. Let our audience participate with us. Hi, everyone. They're not there now. You're not there now. In fact, you're not there at all. You're here. So you can still look at me, though. Everyone, if you would, just close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Intentful breaths, like you want something beyond anything you've ever wanted. Don't describe what that wanting is. You just want for a something regardless of what it looks like. Breathe in. Allow it to descend into your consciousness by exhaling. Breathe in. Taste the love of God on your palate, on your tongue as you do that. And you manifest it by breathing out. And once again, now, if you would, I want you to pick up your breathing gait. Follow this lead. Breath is God. God is life. Breathe in your life. Keep up. Take a self-inventory. Do you feel the same now that you have, where you are, than you did before you started the breath? Of course you don't. You can open your eyes. You feel the buzzing? Feel it? Feel the change? You've raised up your energy. You're feeling your light body. Okay? Now I want you all close your eyes. Take one final inventory of yourself. How does it feel to you, be you now, opposed to before you started breathing? You feel different. You feel charged. So recognize that simply and open your eyes. Whatever you do, don't take your eyes off me. Whatever you do, just don't take your eyes off me. I want you to become aware of what it feels like to be you. Not judgment. Just no thought, in fact. Just feel it. Become aware of the taste in your mouth. No words, just become aware. You can use words maybe to describe it, like, it might taste of talent. Get beyond the words. Just become aware of the taste in your mouth. Become aware of the temperature on your skin. Become aware of the sound of my voice. That's more of the real you than what you're looking at, actually. That part of you that is listening has been aware forever. That's the real you. Become aware of my voice. Become aware of the light source above your head. Pretty easy. Become aware of the people talking behind me. Let's do that again. Become aware of the taste in your mouth. The temperature on your skin. The light source above your head and all around you, even the ones that are behind you. You can see them. Can you not? People in the other room. You ready? Here we go. Now, take a breath. I want you at one time to feel what it's like to be you. The temperature on your skin, the taste in your mouth, the lights above your head, and the sound that's all around you at the same time. Do it. Do you feel it? Do you feel that opening? How were you able to do that before you ever tried it? You weren't. You go here, so you go here. But I literally, intentionally said, taste what's in your mouth. So your awareness gets pointed here, and everything else gets shut off. Now feel the temperature. And I pointed your awareness to all these different focal points until I gave you permission, which no one in your life probably ever has, to say, open up, touch your real self. Let's try it again. Taste in your mouth. Feeling on the skin. Ah, the air conditioning kicked on. So your awareness does all this stuff. Taste in your mouth, Keith's voice, lights above my head. Experience it all. You may feel some bouncing, but I know for a fact there are glimpses that you actually feel the, I see them all, and it fleets and it goes away. Thank you. This is the work, non-work, for every spiritual aspirant. You don't go about practicing how to expand your awareness from being who you really are. Expand your awareness for you. There is no work to do. It's all a product of you. Did you have any success? You were able to feel that expansion of your real self? Can you describe it for me? Would you, please?
Oh, sure. So definitely, because when we did it at the same time, I felt the taste in my mouth, I heard the background, I felt the skin. I felt all the sensations at once, but it wasn't long lasting for every day. Maybe a second. So.
You just had a quick glimpse and the door shut.
Yes.
But you did experience evidence of not being what you always thought you were, of being something beyond what you always thought you were. Wow. How was I able to do that? It's what Jesus, Baba, Buddha, everything that we are moving towards as a collective world, race. So the benefit of achieving this technique that I offered is to give you a glimpse that you exist in all these places. You're speaking about blocks and clarity earlier. This level of clarity is what will allow you to be in your life to where, without effort, you know that something behind the tree, like a big dog, is about to jump out and bite you on the ass. Everyone would want to be aware enough to know that, whatever the situation may be. But when you have this multifaceted awareness, we begin to not leave the body, we begin to incorporate our soul, because we crossed the bridge enough to where you become peripherally aware. Yes?
For me, the interpretation was kind of like feeling all your senses, or sensing all your senses. The touchy, hearing, seeing, feeling, tasting is what I interpreted out of this experiment that we just did. Am I on the right path with that?
That's it. You got to see a greater capacity of what you are versus my awareness goes where I go. Your awareness is everywhere. So you open the gate to see your real self. It happens. It is. It's not something you strive for. It's something you open up through by letting go. Letting go. Let go. But I'm scared. Goddamn right you are. And you will feel that scare until you jump off the high diving board. I got to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shit! You hit the water, you'll realize you had died. Oh my God, that was quite fun. You ready to go do it again? We talked about awareness opening, about doing what you love, about getting out of the noise of the world. Whatever is your religious or political affiliation, enjoy it out of fun, not out of fight. But you don't understand. You already missed it. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Conservative. It doesn't matter to me. It matters to whoever you may be. You can still vote, however you choose that to be. But if you plug into the system in that way, your fighting will get you sucker punched. Same with racism. Keith, are you saying pull back from the world so far that you lose compassion? I'm saying find compassion for yourself by getting out of the noise that's killing you. Then you find real compassion. And then you have the awareness to know when to step in to be of the greatest influence. Until then, you grab someone's hand in a swimming pool and you get caught in the nonsense. So how do we combat racism? You don't. You leave it alone. Well, how's that going to change the world? You change yourself. And when you change yourself, any little influence you have sends out ripples. You just had a little bit of influence just now, and your awareness opened up like that. You felt aspects of yourself that you may have not before, all at one time. And so likewise, those aspects of yourself that you're trying to influence and open up to be a part of and make difference are those people who are fighting. Because if you go stand between two people who are fighting to break it up, sometimes a blow will pop you in the nose and break your nose. Now you got to deal with your issue. What is about to happen on this earth, actually rather more so in all of us, is going to be a test. It's going to get greater. And it's going to get harder. So you have to become lighter. It's going to become harder. So you're going to become softer. Things are going to become heavy. So you got to become light. Things will begin to present themselves in ways you've never understood before. It's okay. You don't have to understand it. Stand under what you already know. I know I am solid. Nothing can... I lost my child, God forbid. I can't even begin to think that, nor teach about that because I have not experienced that. I know spiritual law is spiritual lesson, regardless how such tragedy could show up in one's life. This is the technique I want to show you about breathing to create your life in the form of deliberately manifesting, but also breathing to deliberately manifest something to not manifest. Lightning strikes in the family. You lose your child, God forbid. Your dad or mother dies. You lost your job and you just thought whatever it may be. How do you fix that? You don't. You heal yourself in the moment from what it can do to you potentially in the future. So the way you manifest your life deliberately, one way, take yourself beyond, let's see a brand new house and a lover. Wonderful idea. It works. That's all ethereal, airy, fairy stuff, fluffy. Very powerful. But when you begin to bring it to the earth, you anchor the divine principle. You cross the bridge to the soul. Yes. Hi.
Hi.
You must have walked in at the right moment. So, let's bring it down to earth. That's why when you have a thought, you write it down. You're taking it from the mind to the earth. It begins to materialize. So what you do, I'm looking for magical, mystical, sexual, rich, whatever you think you want, lover in my life. I'm looking for a new house. Whatever it is. Be careful of your emotions as you're doing this. Your emotions or your outcome. Yeah, but I'm excited. Great, be excited. But remember, your excitement may be about something erroneous that's going to take you away from that which it is that you want. Be nothing. And when you find yourself in that space of awareness, practice the technique I gave you. When you feel it open up, when you feel that you're pretty good for where you are for that day, sounds crazy, doesn't it? It is crazy. That's why it works. So what happens is, blow in your hand. Go ahead, blow in your hand. No, please. You feel that. That's tangible. You can prove to yourself, wow, it's tangible. It's palpable. I can literally touch it. God breathed life into man. Life, God, same word. Same idea. As in the image and similitude of the Father we are created, by our very breath, conscious or unconscious, we move down the timeline towards the future of our life. God breathed life into its creation. Sexual lover, a lot of money, nice house. I deserve it. Watch what happens. You can do this as a practice, or you can have the might, faith, if you will, in one breath. I need to hear your voice. I cracked open the door of the universe. You breathe your creation into life versus sweating that effort. Oh, bring me a house, bring me a job, bring me to Florida so I can buy a house next to the beach. That's all cool. I'm not at all. Take it a step further. The foundation that's missing is the earth aspect of it. Grounding it. Now, the aspects of your life you don't want. Sometimes you have no choice, because it does involve other soul contracts. People dying around you. Losing that job. Whatever it may be. Oh, God. Enjoy your oh my God for a while. You deserve that, actually. You lost someone. Enjoy the grief. Don't be afraid of the grief. Allow the grief. Milk the grief for what it has for you. Be done with it. Because the question always is what next? You can stay in the riddle all you want. It's yours to do that. What next? What lies beyond this prison? So if you want to get out of any lightning strike, electrical charge that's holding on to you, same game. See what it wants from you. But instead of try. How do you feel? Feel the charge? The density of what is trying to stick to you can't. It's no longer Velcro. You put some very nice spiritual lube on you, oil, and it slides right off of you. Otherwise, it will stick, become static, and it will initiate, integrate, and graduate itself into your life. To where hindsight, 20 years from now, you're doing this spiritual work at a 2020 Spirit Fest in Melbourne to find a teacher and or a reader to give you exactly what you think you need to get rid of the problem that you could have gotten rid of in the moment when you went, Same thing. Breath is light. If lightning strikes, enjoy it until you no longer want to enjoy being miserable, grief-stricken, so forth, heartbroken. But don't wait too long. The longer it waits, the longer you wait, the more it becomes static. It becomes frozen in your life. You want to keep the burners warm. Breathe into it. Keith, I don't want to breathe and get rid of the fact that I lost someone precious to me. It's up to you. Do some of the work and leave a little bit for yourself as dessert, treat. People they think that if they stop, if they let go of a past loved one, that they no longer care. Who's experienced that? If I let my person who died die, I can never do that because I'm showing I don't care. What you're really doing when you do that is keeping the door shut. They can never get in to say hi. Never get in through the grief. They're not in grief anymore. They're not in pain anymore. If they died of cancer, they're not in pain anymore. So how can they? Why would they want to come back through pain? Through your grief as a doorway to get to you. They will never do that. Celebrate it. Oh my God, I lost my loved one. So you play with it. You enjoy your grief. You get done with the grief. And then God steps in by intensity, by your intention to shift, and you simply fall into this new place. What time do you have, dear?
This is going to cost you extra. 11:45.
You see. I don't normally do this in presentations, but we'll see what happens. This is me. What I'm saying is it's just a demonstration of how each one of you can fall inside by mere intention. I don't know where this happens inside of me. I do this simply for one reason only, because it brings me joy to be in that space. So much divine feminine floating about, in and out, and without a doubt it's all around you. It resounds you, it compounds you with many beautiful possibilities as through the cosmic birth, the cosmic womb of your life begins to move outward this new divine child that you are all becoming. Swimming in the divine ocean you are. Are you putting in your little toe just to test the water? Or are you diving in completely submersing and losing what you think is you? Without further ado, the new you becomes birthed into the surface. What do you do from there? You enjoy. You delight in it. You are here to win it, aren't you? There you go. But you don't understand, as the vessel mentions, this is the disease of the human dynamic, mostly, for most. But only if I can't. What is this? Where does this come from? This construct, this mental construct, this unconscious construct. It automatically reveals and shows to you the level of work that you have not done. Good. Don't do any work about it. Just recognize it. And in the light of awareness, the light always dissipates the dark. Become that spark and your dark will simply flee from you. You must see to be free. You must see to be free. It's easy. People try too hard. They talk too loud and talk too much. And this is a mighty clutch. And from such you should arise if you choose to. Well, how do I choose that, Yanava, you may ask? Be your delicious, beautiful, sexy human self. That's it. Don't hold back anything. Be vulnerable. At least 2 or 3 of you can feel this energy as it begins to move, begins to push. And all of you, though, be one of those who choose to receive it. Believe it, and you will. Still, many throughout the world are lost in that whirlpool. Better said, the cesspool of human unconsciousness, which always brings trouble. Consciousness only brings delight, the light, spiritual power, and spiritual might. Simply being centered, no longer splintered into. In such wholeness, you will view the new reality which belongs to each and every one of you. You are due this divine birthright. Spirit scans each one of you. Two of you are moving to new places, physically. One of you is concerned about some upper issues. Life is a little hard for me to breathe right now. I have no breathing room. Careful, dear one, about that. Because in such a way, you are beginning the solidifying process of having lung or breathing issues. Though you may have that already from a childhood experience, you call it asthmatic or bronchitis and so forth and so on, or even COVID. But again, has been offered to you to open you up so that you may breathe into the deliciousness of the life breath that simply is you, not belongs to you, it is you. How can you separate yourself from the breath? You can't. You shan't. Sometimes you're wanting, even though it's all energy waves, your wanting is so strong they become tidal waves. And what do tidal waves do? They destroy every opportunity that you're trying to employ to bring about this joy in your life. Creates a lot of strife. Simply ask. Simply receive. Do you believe that it's that easy? Why are you so hard on yourself? Including the vessel. Why are you so hard? If you're answering the question that was posed, you've missed the point. It's rhetorical. That's the point. Get my point? Why are you so hard on yourself? Leave it there. And the gate opens. Why am I so hard on myself? Don't look for the answer. Why am I so hard on myself? Why am I so hard on myself? Why am I so hard on myself? Then the whole situation gets turned over on its head and no longer exists, does it not? Why am I so hard on myself? Then you realize the ridiculousness in asking the question repeatedly in the first place. Say the word apple 20 times and see what happens. It loses all of its meaning. Then it sounds ridiculous. Likewise, stop being ridiculous with yourself. Stop playing the foolish game, for only fools play it. Spirit begins to push. One is a little more stuck or wobbly than the other. Pushing a little greater with kid gloves. Be careful what you ask for. You want to swim, you want to swim, you want to swim, but you won't get into the river. Keep saying you want to swim. Spirit will grab you and pick you up and throw you in the river. Either way, you get wet. No more work. Work on that. No more work. Leave your past behind you. Trying to be a creator right here, right now, dwelling in the past, to create your future is blind. Mind you, you will have no such luck, as the vessel has been describing throughout this crossing the bridge to your soul presentation. The presentation is not about the words he said. It's about all the energy transference that has happened throughout what is being said to this very, very moment that brings you into a greater capacity of the now moment, which is forever. It's forever. You are forever. Enjoy this beautiful endeavor you have taken upon yourself. Why are you so hard upon yourself? Be light on yourself, then naturally you become light. Be heavy on yourself, and then you become hard and heavy to everyone around you. It's easy. There is no crossing the bridge. Actually, it's all an illusion. But you need this illusion until you no longer don't. Figure that one in, not out, and you will win without a doubt. You are blessed beyond measure. You are loved beyond measure. Spirit enjoys this endeavor to be in this treasure trove with you. As we leave this with you, it is complete. Thank you. Any questions?
When you do that, do you remember what was said?
Yes and no. The question was asked, when I do this, I don't like the word channeling. It's just been too beaten up. Falling inside, vesseling, just me dwelling in my sacred space, whatever you deem it. Some of it I do remember. Most of it I don't. What I long for is what I feel like when I'm in there. What I long for is to bring this into my life in open-eyed states of consciousness, which I am and I do. But to the level I'm able to be in that space of expanded awareness that we did, consciously is happening. I'm moving towards, I'm in high school and graduation is 2 months from now kind of idea. Not that it's 2 months away from me, but that's just the analogy. But I really don't want to leave that space. I feel such joy, such bliss. I don't care about anything else really. And it's not, I'm not caring. I don't have a care in the world or concern. I think this is whatever, I think I found what many of us have found, and everyone else who has not found it yet is truly wanting. You will know you are there in the garden when something so beautiful simply just happens to you, and you lose yourself so much to the capacity you have no choice for it grabbing you with everything it has and just pulling you into it, to where you lose your identity. If your walk is with Jesus, be with Jesus so much that you lose your identity, that you become the Christ itself. If your walk is with the Buddha, you become involved with your deity so much that you lose your identity. That is called samadhi, conscious union with God. And so when I go into this vesseling mode, it allows me to be in that cave. And it helps me move from slave to brave. I have to be brave. You will be afraid as you step towards your life. Don't be afraid of being afraid. You can't dance around it. You can't go over it. You can only go through it. It's nervy. But you will champion the mountain. But you have to want to hike. You have to want to hike up the mountain to ever get to the apex. There's bears that sleep in the woods when you're sleeping at night and you're hiking towards the summit. It's a little nervy to know that you have such things about you. Likewise in life. There are things moving about you. And that current and that swimming pool or cesspool, if you're standing in the middle, you're not affected. You reach out towards the event horizon, you get pulled into the swimming pool, and now you're lost into the what do you call that? The whirlpool that you used to do as a kid in the pool. You get pulled into the current, and it gets pretty hard, especially when you try to bucket. Everyone is in the life stream. There's nothing you can do about it. You cannot do anything about being in the life stream. And everyone is moving downstream in the life stream. But not everyone is moving downstream in the life stream consciously. They're trying to go upstream like salmon, which is hard to do, only to be eaten by a bear when you think you've reached the top. And when you move against the current, you become the turbulence, the rapids, the stones that resist the stream, and it causes trouble. You let go. You don't have to paddle yourself and turn yourself around. Just put the oars down, the current will turn you. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. You begin to move with the current. How do I know I'm always moving with the current? Did you break your toe yesterday? Did you have this issue? It doesn't mean you're not going to have these trials and tribulations. These trials and tribulations are your ticket to the conscious current, because they're showing you exactly where you have faltered. Don't walk around in my house knowing my wife is going to buy new furniture when I'm not aware of it, to walk into the house to stub my toe, to break my foot. Whatever. Just become aware of your life. How do you become aware? Taste in your mouth. What are you hearing? What are you feeling? Do you see the lights above you? So you've directed your awareness to all these points. And then you say, can I do this all at once? I can taste the taste in my mouth. I can feel the temperature on my skin, the lights in the room, the sounds in the room, all at one time. And the gate begins to open. And now you have prepared yourself to the largest capacity, because awareness always dissipates darkness. In the light of awareness. Be the light of awareness. Passion, sincerity, humility, and vulnerability. I promise you, if you use passion, I'm going to make this happen. God damn it, I'm going to make this happen. That word in and of itself is pretty powerful. That's passion. I'm sincere about this. I really want this. I mean it. Humility, be of service. Humility to what you think you know. Humility to be open to the things that you don't know. And vulnerability brings you to the space of all the things I've gleaned from my passion, sincerity, and humility. I'm opening myself up and letting the light shine. Be that light. Done about. Thank you.
Thank you.